the evidence that I have presented. And mind you, there is no way, very well, the case that we've made in court. And from all the cross-examination, I don't see anything that is relevant or damaging to the case that I have made in court. Are there any more questions? Okay.
Yeah. Maxwell Ababa, Joy FM. Joy FM Joy News here.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've been talking about the extradition. We've been seeing a lot of extradition of our nationals to other countries to face justice. But we've also seen the repatriation of nationals from neighboring countries, some of them engaged in cyber crime, some of them engaged in romance fraud and all of that. Sometime in April, the Interior Minister actually said that we are not interested in prosecuting those, our neighbors, who come in and then engage in cyber, crime and then romance fraud. I have the specific quote there. He said sometime in April 2025, Daily Graphic actually published that. I don't have my phone here. I would have pulled out the exact quote. So I want to find out from you, are we going to continue repatriating persons engaged in romance fraud, those who come from neighboring countries? Are we going to continue repatriating them, or we would prosecute them? I'm asking this because I think on Sunday, the Cybersecurity Authority made a major arrest somewhere around Kaswa. Are we going to prosecute those people, or repatriate them? Because it will be counterproductive if we repatriate them. Some of them will just jump on the next available bus and then come back to Ghana. My second question has to do with the Cybersecurity Amendment Bill 2025. I know your office contributes actually in the drafting of bills, and you have legal oversights in that area. Many have raised concerns that aspects of that bill criminalizes free speech. They say that it also duplicates functions that other state institutions are already providing. President Mahama, I remember the GJ Awards, stated that he has listened, he's heard the concerns of civil society organizations, and something is going to be done about that particular bill. I want to find out from you, have these concerns reached your desk, and what changes are we likely to see to that bill? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So your first question relates to repatriation and prosecution. Well, I don't remember precisely what the Honorable Minister for the Interior said with respect to whether we will repatriate those who have engaged in romance scam or will prosecute them here in Ghana. But granted that he said he will rather repatriate them to their countries of origin rather than prosecute them, all right, you always have a choice. And in the case of romance scam in particular, the victims may not be Ghanaians, all right. The crime would have taken place within the territory of Ghana. In other words, within the jurisdiction of Ghana, meaning that Ghana has, authority or the power to prosecute the persons involved in that crime, all right. But it is also the case that the country of the victims will also have the power to prosecute, all right. The choice that you have to make is whether you want to expend resources prosecuting them, or you want to repatriate them. And if you are repatriating them, you have to give reasons to the country. Say, let's say that they are Nigerians. We don't just repatriate by taking them to the Nigerian border and letting them, get off the plane or the bus, and that is the end of the story. Okay? We hand them over with documentation to the Nigerian authorities, and they can then decide that they are going to take action, to prosecute them. Okay? So when it comes to romance scam, it is a complex story. So, for instance, in the case of those that we are faced with now, with Abutrika being the latest one, all right, most of the victims are Americans, all right. In his case, the story is that the romance scam led to elderly Americans losing as much as 8 million United States of American dollars. And that is why the extradition request was made. All right. Now, we didn't investigate the crime itself. Okay, we didn't know or had no basis to suspect that he was engaged in those criminal activities. Of course, sometimes if you take the lifestyle, you do a simple lifestyle audit, it can come up that this person must be getting illicit proceeds. That is why the person is living so, lavishly. All right, but that wasn't done. We didn't do the investigation. We didn't build a docket. So we cannot purport to just all of a sudden receive a docket from the United States of America requesting for extradition. Then we say, okay, you know what? We will retain the person here, take your evidence, and then, go to court. In fact, the court will even fight us if we adopt that kind of approach. Okay, so it's a complex governmental decision to take. I know some of those people are fellow citizens who are engaged in the romance scam, and there is a school of thought that says that we should be lenient with them, but all crime is crime, and we need to hold everyone accountable who has engaged in criminal, conduct. And this is the way to go. Now, with respect to the cybersecurity bill, I must say that, yes, my office is in charge of drafting, but we take instructions or drafting instructions from the ministries, departments, and agencies that want to change the status concerning or affecting their sectors or their agencies. All right? It is not every bill that I have the opportunity of reading from cover to cover before signing. If it is an amendment, I will read the proposed amendments and then authorize the legislative drafting division to send it to cabinet. Now, it is not, we can always advise an agency that a proposed amendment offends the Constitution, say the human rights provisions of the Constitution in chapter 5, including the right to freedom, of speech. All right, but where it is debatable, we defer to the ministry that is bringing the proposed amendment. So in this particular case, the bill has been laid. The bill is now the property of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Civil society organizations and individuals have made the case that certain aspects of the bill offend the Constitution, particularly the provisions relating to freedom of speech. I believe that Parliament will listen. I believe that there will be proposed amendments by committee members and by during the plenary, the consideration stage of the plenary, amendments will be proposed, and I believe that ultimately, okay, some of the deleterious provisions that have been complained about will be refashioned in a way that will conform to the Constitution. If I have the opportunity to re-examine the bill, and also if, even if it is passed, all right, I can tell the president not to sign it if I am convinced that the bill offends the Constitution and laws, existing laws of this country.
Good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Romeo Tete, and I report for Ahoto FM. AG, please, I want to know what will distinguish your tenure from that of your predecessors in terms of justice delivery and the rule of law. And secondly, at the end of your tenure, what single reform will you want Ghanaians to remember you for? Thank you.
Well, okay.
A quick update. I wanted to find out if there is any update on ex-Maslock CEO, Sedinam Tamaklo, who was sentenced here and is receiving treatment abroad. Anything we can get. Thank you.
Okay.
AG, I'm back again.
Yes,
AG,
you are welcome.
You responded, even though I don't have an opinion on it, but I think that I still disagree with you. But I'll move on to my next question, which still has to do with the Keno Foriata issue. There's a whole issue surrounding the OSP handling the prosecution or the case involving the former finance minister. And some have argued that, including civil society, that this case be handled by your office. as you have submitted a formal extradition request to the U.S. authorities, is it the case that you will consider handling this case from the Office of the Special Prosecutor? Thank you.
Yes. Right. So the first twin questions related to my tenure as Attorney General. I think it's too early, I mean, for me to... I am consumed with work, consumed in making sure that the promises made by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in our NDC manifesto, especially in relation to oral, all right, are carried out. I want the President to stand tall and be justified for what he said to Ghanaians to get elected. So I don't even think about what Ghanaians will say is my best legacy, right? I work and I want to leave the work to speak for itself. I do my best and I leave the rest to God. So I'm not someone who is thinking about legacy. But if there's one thing that I individually championed and which the party itself took up very strongly, and Mr. President took it up very strongly, is professional legal education reform. And I think I've had the occasion to tell the media that I drafted a bill in opposition, optimistically waiting for His Excellency to come to power for us to implement the reforms. I have laid a bill in Parliament. We just had a meeting with the General Legal Counsel where I did a presentation of the new reforms that are contemplated by the bill. I think it is one thing that is going to transform professional legal education in Ghana. And if it is successful, maybe in future I will look back and say this was a good thing that I did. And Ghanaians will look back and say it was a good thing that I did. But other than that, I don't work and think about whether I'm going to... I just do my work as best as I can and ethically as possible, and then I leave the rest to be judged by the people of this country. Now, the other thing is about... The other question relates to the Maslock CU, the former Maslock CU. I had to answer questions in Parliament in relation to her, and that is in relation to her extradition. And I did indicate to Parliament that in July of 2024, the formal request for her extradition was put in by my predecessor, right? In other words, it was put in by my office. Now, the American authorities have, worked on it. Okay, they've worked on the extradition. The extradition proceedings have taken place in the United States. And we are expecting that, barring any appeal by her lawyers, she may, very soon be extradited to Ghana to serve her prison term. And her lawyers, of course, if she comes and she instructs them to go to court on her behalf because she was tried in absentia, that will be another, angle to the matter. But that drama will be played out here on this side of the Atlantic and not in the United States of America. So that is all that I can say about her. I don't have any definitive information about when she will be, extradited. But Americans have indicated that they've completed the process. Now, Hanan wants to walk me into a controversy and trouble. I will avoid that controversy, right? Whether I should take over the Ken Ofori-Atta trial. The OSP is independent, statutorily so, of the Attorney General. The OSP prosecutes on the authority of the Attorney General in its law, all right? Unless there is any legally sound basis for the Attorney General to say he is interfering in the work of the OSP, all right, there cannot be any interference. I can't take over an investigation. I can't take over a prosecution, all right? Now, the reason why I had to do the extradition is because by law, I'm the central authority. Or let me put it this way, the Office of the Attorney General is the central authority for extraditions. So it was unavoidable. The OSP cannot request for the Americans to bring Ken Ofori-Atta home. If he does, that will be legally flawed, and it will just be a non-starter. As far as the Americans are concerned, they will just throw it away. All right? So the OSP had to work cooperatively with me, all right, in order for us to send this extradition package, you know, to the United States of America. That is all. That's the limit of my authority. Beyond that, I cannot take over the prosecution just because I am the one, applying for the extradition to the from the Americans. Yeah, yes, I have heard the arguments that people are making. All right, are they sound arguments? I don't know. I won't place any judgment on what they are saying. All right, but for me, the important thing is that the OSP has done its work. I have also done my work, and whether or not what the OSP is doing in court will become successful, we are all watching. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Attorney General, for this briefing. As he indicated, on Monday he will be back here to disclose details of the conclusion of an investigation into a case involving a high-profile personality and the filing of charges in same. So until then, thank you all for coming.